Have you ever wondered how a single act of kindness could change someone's life forever? The town of Brookhaven was small and quiet, with red brick houses lining narrow streets and gardens filled with roses and lavender. In one such house lived Clara Evans, a widowed mother, and her 8-year-old son Ethan. Life for Clara was an endless rhythm of work and responsibility. She worked 2 jobs, balancing bills, cooking, and raising Ethan with all the care she could give. But there was one thing in the house she could not bring herself to accept: Ethan's white puppy. Snowy. Snowy had come into their lives 6 months earlier, when Ethan found him trembling under a bench in the park. A tiny ball of white fur abandoned and whimpering. Ethan begged his mother to let him take the puppy home. Clara, against her better judgment, agreed. She told herself it would be temporary, just until they found someone else to care for him, but Ethan grew attached. He fed Snowy from his own plate, carried him in his arms everywhere, and whispered secrets to him at night. The puppy followed the boy like a shadow, wagging his tail, ears perked, eyes glowing with pure devotion. Clara, however, felt only irritation. The puppy chewed her shoes, left muddy prints on the floor, and shed white hair on the couch. To her, Snowy was another responsibility she couldn't afford. Ethan, she often scolded, that dog is a nuisance. You spend more time with him than with your homework. One day you'll see he's nothing but trouble. Ethan would lower his eyes but hug Snowy tighter. He's my friend, Mom. He understands me. Clara sighed. She loved her son deeply, but every time she looked at the dog, resentment tightened in her chest. Snowy reminded her of how little control she had in her life. Another mouth to feed, another mess to clean. It was late July when the accident happened. The sun hung high in a pale sky, casting long shadows across the street. Clara had the day off and was preparing laundry when Ethan asked if he could ride his bicycle near the park. Fine, Clara said, folding clothes. But stay close. And don't let that dog follow you. I don't want him running loose again. Snowy tilted his head as if understanding. His fluffy tail wagged hopefully. I'll keep him on the porch, Ethan promised. He kissed his mother on the cheek, ruffled Snowy's ears, and rolled his bicycle down the path. But Snowy wasn't one to be left behind. Soon as Ethan disappeared down the street, the puppy squeezed through a gap in the fence and bounded after him. Paws flying, ears flapping. The road near the park curved dangerously. Cars sped by faster than they should. Ethan, pedaling hard, leaned into the turn, exhilarated by the rush of wind. Snowy followed, his tiny legs moving as fast as they could. Then it happened. Ethan's front wheel hit a loose stone. The bicycle wobbled violently, then toppled. Ethan fell sideways, sliding across the pavement. Before he could get up, a delivery truck roared around the curve. The driver swerved, but there was no time. Snowy leaped. The puppy darted into the road, barking furiously, planting himself between the boy and the oncoming truck. The driver slammed the brakes. Tires screeched. The truck skidded sideways, missing Ethan by inches. Snowy, however, was struck by the bumper and thrown aside. Ethan screamed. He scrambled to his knees, skin scraped, tears streaming, and ran to his puppy. Snowy lay still, a streak of white fur against the asphalt. The ambulance took Ethan and Snowy. Clara arrived moments later, heart pounding, face pale as chalk. When she saw her son lying on the stretcher, bruised but conscious, relief flooded her. Then she saw the puppy. Snowy's side rose and fell in shallow breaths, his whimpers faint. Clara's throat tightened. She had called him a nuisance, wished many times he would vanish from their lives. But now, seeing his fragile body, something broke inside her. At the hospital, doctors confirmed Ethan had no serious injuries, only scrapes and a sprained wrist. He's a lucky boy, the doctor said. If not for the dog distracting the driver, the truck would have hit him directly. Clara sat by her son's bed, tears streaming silently. Ethan, pale but smiling weakly, held her hand. Mom, Snowy saved me. He's my hero. Snowy was taken to the veterinary clinic. He had broken ribs and bruises, but he was alive. When Clara heard, she wept with gratitude. Days passed. Ethan recovered quickly, but Clara's heart had changed forever. She visited Snowy at the clinic with her son, watching as the puppy wagged his tail weakly despite his pain. Clara reached out, stroking his fur for the first time, not with annoyance, but with tenderness. "You brave little thing," she whispered. "I was wrong about you." Ethan beamed, tears of joy in his eyes. When Snowy finally returned home, wrapped in bandages, Clara carried him inside herself. She prepared a soft blanket in the living room, sat beside him, and whispered words she had never thought she'd say. "Welcome home, Snowy. This is your home, too." From then on, things were different. Clara still worked hard, still worried about bills, but she no longer saw Snowy as a burden. She saw him as family, the one who had risked his life for her son. When she looked at him now, she didn't see muddy paw prints or chewed shoes. She saw courage. She saw loyalty. She saw love. Years later, Ethan would grow tall and strong, but he never forgot the day his puppy saved his life. Snowy grew older too, his muzzle gray, but he remained Ethan's loyal shadow. Clara often told the story to neighbors, her voice breaking with emotion. "I once thought that little white dog was nothing but trouble, but he gave me back my son. He taught me what love really means." And in Brookhaven, people remembered the tale of the white puppy who changed a mother's heart, not with words, but with the ultimate act of devotion